Hello, welcome back. Today we have a book haul. I have over 20 books to talk to you about. Some I got as birthday gifts because my 30th birthday was at the beginning of this month. Some I bought at a used bookstore, some I got on Pango, some I swapped for, some are book of the month, just all different types of books from all different types of places. But before we talk about that, I want to talk to you about Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a carbon neutral jewelry brand that has a lot of really elegant, really versatile pieces. And I've always been intrigued by Ana Luisa because the pieces always seemed very dainty and delicate and very timeless. And that's what I really like in my jewelry. My jewelry needs to withstand a lot. I wear the same pieces for a lot of different functions. So I need it to look good at work, look good when I'm going out with friends, look good when I'm filming. So I really want to be able to dress my jewelry up and down. And I feel like with the pieces that I chose from Ana Luisa, I definitely am able to do that. And I put my jewelry through a lot, and these are really great quality, and I haven't seen any wear or tear on these since I have got them. And I've put them through a lot. Dance rehearsals, I shower in my jewelry. So my jewelry needs to be able to withstand a lot, and these still look just as good as the day I pulled them out of the box. They have tons of 5-star reviews on their website. Their pieces are really affordable. They have free shipping. They also ship internationally, and they have a great return policy as well. And this time of year is perfect for jewelry because we have Valentine's Day coming up. So whether you're looking for something for a significant other or your BFF or your mom or anybody, Ana Luisa definitely has versatile pieces that would really fit any style. And right now they have a special sale going on for Valentine's Day, and it's buy one, get one 50% off, which is an awesome deal. So let's talk about the pieces that I am wearing today. First, I have the Vita necklace, and I picked this because I wanted all of these pieces to be able to go together and look like they kind of go together, but also be able to be worn with my different types of pieces of jewelry. So you'll notice that everything that I'm wearing today has some gold in it, but also has some like white diamondy sparkle to it. So I have a little bit of the silvery and a little bit of the gold. That way it'll kind of be versatile and work with whatever. I love the mixed metal and different colors in jewelry. I really think that that works for my personality and my style, and it allows me to mix and match my jewelry a little bit more. And I feel like it definitely draws the eye without being like a huge statement piece. The earrings that I'm wearing are these small Paris earrings, and I love up close how sparkly they are, and I love that they do make a little bit more of a statement, but they're not super dangly. They don't take up a lot of space on my ear, and I feel like they go really well with the pieces of jewelry that I already wear in other holes in my ears. And these earrings are really easy to get on and off, but I am not worried about losing them. Sometimes I have earrings that I'm almost afraid to wear because I'm afraid of losing them, but these I have not had a problem with. And then the last piece of jewelry I want to talk about is the ring that I'm wearing, and it is the Haley ring, and it is adjustable, so I like that I can adjust it for different fingers if I wanted to wear it on a different finger. And when I went and got my nails done, my nail tech actually complimented me on this ring, and she usually doesn't even notice the rings that I'm wearing. So the fact that she said something about this one means a lot, because I see her every 2 weeks and I'm usually wearing different types of rings. But I just love how subtle it is and light, and I'm not worried that I'm gonna snag it on things or scratch people with it. So definitely check out Ana Luisa, especially right now while they have the buy one, get one 50% off sale going on for Valentine's Day. If you watch this after Valentine's Day and after the sale ends, I will still have a code. It's Lena20. So that will help you get 20% off of your purchase. I'm just gonna put all sorts of things in the description box below, but definitely check out Ana Luisa for some Valentine's Day gifts for somebody special in your life. And thank you so much once again to Ana Luisa for collaborating on this video with me. And now, without further ado, let's get into the book haul. We have a lot to talk about. I have a couple stacks around me and I'm not really sure where to start, so I'm just going to pick one up. So this is X's and O's by Amy Lee, and this is the buddy read for the X's and O's readathon that I'm doing in February. I will link my announcement video below, but my friend Jessie from the channel Reading with Jess created it, and I will be co-hosting with her and a bunch of other lovely creators. And this is the buddy read for that because it matches the name of the readathon. And even though it's around Valentine's Day, you don't have to read romance books. It just worked out that this title matches. But this, I believe, is a second chance romance. I think this delves a lot into finding exes and trying to rekindle relationships, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I want to go in a little bit blind, but I know that there's a firefighter in there, and so I think it's going to be steamy. Next is The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, and that is by Kim Michelle Richardson. And this was gifted to me for my birthday by a lovely follower on Instagram. And this one, I don't really know much of what it's about, but I know it's a historical fiction, and I will be reading this for a secret reading vlog that I have coming up. And it's set in Appalachia, which I always love that background for historical fiction. Next, I have Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry. This was also gifted to me for my birthday from my lovely friend Jess Z. So thank you so much, Jess. I read this book this month for my friend Reading with Jess, another Jessie. So many Jesses, it gets confusing. So Reading with Jess, I was on her channel this month for her book club, the Sleep When I'm Dead book club, and we discussed this book this month, and Lucinda Berry joined us for the first half hour of that book discussion, so definitely go back and rewatch that live. Lucinda Berry is so amazing. She's exactly the way I expected her to be, and she's just so cool, and I love that we're friends now, so definitely go back and check out that live show, and check back at the end of January to see all of my thoughts on this. Also from my friend Jess Z, I have My Darling Husband by Kimberly Bell, and she got this for me for Christmas. It just came a little bit late, which honestly is fine because it was such a nice surprise to see it on my doorstep, especially since this came in on a not so great day, so it definitely brightened my day. But I love Kimberly Bell. She writes domestic suspense, and I will be reading this for the X's and O's readathon. It meets a prompt of forced proximity. Next, I have The Nurse's Secret by Amanda Skenendor, and this was gifted to me for my birthday from my lovely friend Jordan from the channel Sorry Booked Solid. And I think there's murder. I think there is smuggling people away and hiding them from law enforcement. I think there's a little bit of epidemiology in here too, maybe. It seems like a lot all in one book, but it's based in the 1930s, so who knows what's gonna happen. So I'm really excited about this one, and I think this one's also for a secret reading vlog. Another Christmas present, we have Trailed by Catherine Miles. I read this month for the New Year New Reads Readathon, but this was gifted to me for Christmas from my boyfriend. He said he saw this at Books A Million and read the synopsis and saw that it was set in the Shenandoah Valley based on a murder that happened, like a true crime novel. And he said that he wasn't sure how much true crime I read, but because it's set where I live, he thought it would be interesting, and he was not wrong. This was a pretty good book. And so once again, check back at the end of the month to see all of my thoughts. But basically, this is just a true crime story following some murders that happened in the Shenandoah Valley in the 80s. Did I say 80s? I meant 90s. Next, I have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I think I am the last person on the planet to read this book, but this was gifted to me by my friend Brooke, and I think we're gonna buddy read it. She and I buddy read the new Emily Henry book a couple months ago, so very excited for this. And this has been pitched to me so many different times. I'm sure you probably know what it's about, but in case you don't, it's basically one of those kind of magical realism where a woman is able to see what her life would have looked like if she made different decisions. So I really enjoyed that trope in books, so we'll see. Next, we have Haven by Emma Donoghue, and this was gifted to me by my friend Danielle. She has a booktube channel. I will link it below, but I'm so glad to own this now because this is the discussion book that I will be discussing with my friend Gwen on her podcast, Talk Bookish to Me, in the month of March. So I definitely will be reading this soon so that I can gather all of my thoughts and get ready for that discussion. But this is just beautiful, and I now have a couple of Emma Donoghue books, and I haven't read any of them. so this will be my first and hopefully not the last. Next, we have The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley Heller, and it is a gorgeous cover, but this was gifted to me by my friend Summer from the channel Seasons Reading, so thank you so much, Summer. And I wanted to pick this book up because my friend Kelsey from the channel Essentially Booked said that this is one of her favorite books of 2022, and it was also a Reese's Book Club pick, so we'll see. Okay, next let's talk about some book of the month books. So since it was my birthday month in January, they gave me a credit. So I used that credit to get The Rewind by Allison Wynne Scotch. And this was the buddy read for my friend Jackie's Patreon. Unfortunately, I did DNF this. I got about 100 pages in and realized it wasn't really for me. But if this sounds like something you're interested in, definitely pick it up. It is a romance based in New Year's of 1999. So right at the turn of the century, Y2K, all of that. And I was hoping it would have like all the 90s vibes to it, but it really didn't. And the little aspects of the 90s felt forced. But one thing I will say about this book is that it had really good representation for a male that struggles with anxiety disorder and panic disorder. So I really did like that about this book. So if that's something that you're interested in or representation that you would like to see, definitely try it out. And then the regular monthly pick that I picked for January is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. And I also read this month. I'm trying to read all of my book of the month books when they come in so that I don't get overwhelmed with having a lot of backlist book of the months on my shelf. But basically this is about a group of girls that when they were children, something horrible happened in the woods and they found who did it and put him in jail. But now we're learning that things may not be exactly as they seem. If you like Riley Sager, you definitely would write this because the heroine, the female protagonist in this book, is very much like a Riley Sager protagonist. And then my friend Elizabeth sent me this book because she was unhauling it, and I told her that it totally sounded like something that was up my alley, but it's The Great Pretender by Susanna Callahan. I've had this on my wish list for a while, so I'm so happy to finally get a hold of this and try it out. But basically in the 70s, all of these people were convinced to put themselves in a asylum or a mental institution for a science experiment. And I think things like that are so fascinating and interesting. I studied sociology in college, so I love studies of people and different groups of people, so I'm very interested to read this. Next, we have an ARC copy, and this is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This doesn't come out until April. I will put the exact date on the screen, but I was really interested in this because the synopsis sounded great. And so I actually reached out to William Morrow and asked if they would send me a early release copy, and they said yes. So I'm super excited to own this and get to it and hopefully create some hype around its release. Basically, this is about a woman who's kind of a recluse, and she writes a 1-star review of a book on a website, and the author starts stalking her after that. And come to find out, this author was, I think, a suspect in a murder case and things like that, and things get sinister from there. So really excited about this. Also, I follow Taylor Adams on Instagram, and his Instagram page is just so adorable. I love seeing the pictures of him with his child and reading books and things like that. So yeah, very excited for this one. Thank you again to William Morrow. These next two I swapped for with my friend Jackie from the channel Jacqueline. She has a little free library, and if I see something on her little free library shelf or in the pictures that she posts that I want, I will message her and be like, hey, pull that aside for me, and then I'll swap for another book for her little free library shelf. So I actually have a couple sitting right over there that I have to send to her. But the first is Those Girls by Chevy Stevens, and even though I had said I probably wasn't going to read another Chevy Stevens, this book Jacqueline gave 5 stars. So I am interested in trying this one. This will be maybe my last shot at Chevy Stevens. But I've heard really great things, and I think it has to do with kidnapping and girls who are on the run and they're kidnapped and now they're adults and their past has come back to haunt them, things like that. Again, I'm going to kind of go into this blind. Also because Chevy Stevens' synopses never match what the book is actually about, so why even bother? And the other book that I swapped with Jackie is T. Greenwood's Such a Pretty Girl. And this is a ARC copy that she had. And I am so excited about this. And the back of it just gives all the 70s vibes. I am pretty sure that this is about an actress in the 70s. And That's all I know. But I love T. Greenwood. She wrote one of my favorite books of last year. So, okay. And then the last set of books I'm going to talk about are books that I got at a used bookstore. So I unhaul my books at a place called McKay's, and I use store credit to get more books. So the first used book that I got is The Marriage Lie by Kimberly Bell. So I now have 2 unread Kimberly Bells on my shelf that I need to get to, but I really enjoy her domestic thrillers, and I gave one of her books 4 stars, and I just really enjoy the writing style. So this one I think is literally about just people who lie about something that happened in their marriage. I don't know. And I think it's set in Florida, maybe? Sometimes I just pick things up on a whim at McKay's, because this was literally $1.18, and I paid for it with credit from unhauling books. So if it's just something that I'm even remotely interested in, I figure I might as well give it a try. I can always just sell it back to them later. Next, we have The Orphan House by Anne Bennett, another historical fiction that is dual timeline. Nobody's surprised. So this has timelines in present day and also the 1930s. And in the 1930s, this woman lived at a orphanage as a child, but not because she was an orphan, because her parents ran it. She is having to kind of figure out and clean up the mess that her father made with this orphanage. But what really made me interested in this is on the back of the book, it says that this book was inspired by her great-grandfather and the stories that he told about when he was a superintendent at a county school for pauper children in England. So that sounds so good. And next we have another historical fiction, nobody's surprised. This is Orphan Number 8 by Kim Van Alkemade, I think is how you say that. And I learned about this from my friend Elizabeth, and this seems very Lost Girls of Willowbrook to me. And this is also for a secret reading blog. And next we have Midwives by Chris Bojalian. I think that's how you say that. It's the same person that wrote that book, The Flight Attendant, that I think is pretty popular. I haven't read that, but I've heard a lot about it. And this is about a midwife who is charged with murder, I believe. So this midwife has to do a emergency C-section for a mother who's giving birth, and she died of a stroke. And so now this midwife, Sybil, is charged with her death. So very interesting. Yet another historical fiction. This is The Secret Life of C.C. Wilkes by Diane Chamberlain. I love Diane Chamberlain. She's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. And this has a 1977 timeline and a current timeline. Basically, a pregnant woman went missing and she was never found. And then years later, her child is found. We'll see what happens there. But Diane Chamberlain always does such a great job with her hard-hitting topics and her dual timelines. Okay, I think this is the last historical fiction. This is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. So once again, this is the 3rd Emma Donoghue book that I now have on my shelf, so I really need to start reading these. But this is set in Dublin in 1918 because it's about an understaffed hospital during a war and time of disease. I think the Spanish flu, maybe. And so that intrigued me, but when I opened it and was flipping through it, there's a note in here from somebody that said that she was number 233 on the library waitlist for this book. So she didn't want to wait and she just went ahead and bought a copy, and she hopes the next person enjoys it or whatever. And honestly, that intrigued me. 233 people at the library wanted to get their hands on this book. So that just made me just so intrigued to read it. Okay, we're nearing the end. We have 2 more books. The Good Rich People by Eliza Jane Brazier. I think this is rich people drama or rich people behaving badly, which I don't typically love, but I think this has to do with rich people that rent out a space in their house to those less fortunate and then just kind of messes with them while they're living there in their house. So seems pretty interesting. I've heard a lot of good things, and I've heard it's kind of like speculative and like weird, and I do like a little bit of weird, a little bit. And the last book for this book haul is This Might Hurt by Stephanie Roble. And I have read Darling Rose Gold. That's the only thing I've read by this author. But this is a cult thriller. I believe it's about a woman whose sister is in a cult. So I also love that cover. And I feel like I don't have very many green books. So I love that spine. Okay, finally got through all of those books. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my friends that gifted me books for my birthday. I had a lovely 30th birthday. It was the best birthday I could have asked for. Make sure you check out the description box for all of the information about Ana Luisa. Definitely head over to their website now before their buy one get one 50% off sale for Valentine's Day ends. I hope that you love the service and the jewelry as much as I'm loving it. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.